Ferrari have been running secret tests with their SF-25 ever since the Canadian Grand Prix. It is finally being revealed. Now, what is very interesting about this specific test, we know what it relates to with regarding the SF-25, and more importantly, which of the two drivers asked for this device on the car. And even more incredible than that, it was actually given to the driver to test out in Canada. That wasn't the one that asked for it. And to begin with, let's discuss what exactly have Ferrari been secretly trialing ever since the Canadian Grand Prix. And this requested change comes straight from Lewis Hamilton, who in pre-season testing noticed a major difference between that of the Ferrari brake system and that of the Mercedes one that he had so much success with during his time at that team. And the change that's been made is solely to do with the brake pads on the SF-25. This new version offers a much more sharper initial bite when coming onto the brakes, and in tandem alongside engine braking, which is another component that differs between the Mercedes and Ferrari power units, this has added into the difficulties with regarding braking for Hamilton. And so, having done a trial with the SF-23, this is when Hamilton first noticed this difference, and I believe it is quite a sizable difference that he noticed. And in terms of what it is, I think it is a lot more aggressive, a lot more rough, a lot less refined than that of Mercedes, hence why he made this request for a change on these components. Now, incredibly, Ferrari gave this new component that they had ready for Canada to Charles Leclerc, not Lewis Hamilton, the one that initially asked for this new piece on the car. And it is reportedly behind the crash in FP1 in Canada because of the different feel of the brake pad, as well as Lewis Hamilton's kind of rear lock in qualifying in Belgium this past weekend. So yeah, very interesting pieces of information gathered with regards to these two, in a sense, differing incidents. Now, as for what is different with regards to this new brake pad from the previous version that they started the season with, well, as I mentioned, it is the initial bite when the drivers go onto the brakes. It is a lot more sharp. There's a lot more of a, I suppose, without having driven it, you can get a lot more feedback from your initial input into the brakes with this new brake pad, and therefore you're getting a lot more maybe deceleration as a result of that. Now, one of the kind of, I suppose, side effects you can say from this is it is meant that the drivers have had to make a specific change with the brake balance as a result of that, with a shift of the balance more to the front of the SF-25. Also, Hamilton is using this in a more closed off manner than that of Leclerc, hence why he is less and less likely to receive lift and coast messages from his race engineer during the races than that of Charles Leclerc. Again, a difference just between their kind of driving styles. And I have to also quickly put into this factor the engine braking aspect of the SF-25 and the Ferrari power unit actually. So engine braking is an aid with regards to generating when the driver lifts off the accelerator. So each F1 engine in 2025 has its own characteristics in this regard. Mercedes would have had their own characteristics, one that Hamilton is far more used to than Ferrari, which is obviously comparing here with Ferrari have their own, Honda have their own, and so on and so forth. Now, if we do a comparison between the two that Hamilton has actually sampled in this hybrid era, there is a stark difference between the Ferrari power unit he has currently and the Mercedes power unit in terms of engine braking. The German manufacturer's engine has much less engine braking than that of the Ferrari one. And what this means is it's given much more of a stable rear end as a result of that, the Mercedes one. And the offset or the difference with regards to the Ferrari one, which he currently is finding and experiencing for the first time, allows more rotation of the car at the rear axle with this regard. And this is something Hamilton is struggling a lot more in terms of adaptability with than, say, that of Charles Leclerc, who's had many more years, and I suppose his driving style has been more tailored around this specific characteristic of the Ferrari PU. So with this all being said, what does this leave for not only in terms of the rest of the 25 season, but looking to the future and beyond for 2026 with the technical regulation change? Well, of course, this is something Hamilton specifically wanted, and now both drivers have it on the car. And I think what this is all about is getting both drivers, if they're going to stick with this new brake pad characteristic that they have with it for next season and beyond, just getting them bedded in, making sure what they're doing now and all of the learnings they will no doubt take from every session and every time that they go out on track. They will take the data, the knowledge gained, the sensations from the drivers and their feedback, and just factor that into everything with regards to the 2026 Ferrari PU, because it is all going to have a key role with regards to what Ferrari do for next season's PU. And of course, I could be mistaken, but I do not think the PU is homologated currently right now. So everything that is being learnt and everything that they potentially might need to kind of change from what is currently in the SF-25 in terms of the brake pads and just the PU in general, the characteristics of it, these are changes they can then make for next season. And perhaps Hamilton is trying to get them to kind of go more towards the Mercedes way of not only engine braking but just the feel on the brakes. And if that is the case, then perhaps this is going to give Hamilton much more of a comfortable feeling within the SF-26, let's just call it that, for next season in that 26 regulation, because of a drastic change in the PU, splitting it 50-50 between the electric side of it and of course the motor. And that's where I'm going to wrap this video up, everyone. Hope you've all enjoyed it. If you have, do leave a like on the video. If you have any comments with regards to this whole situation Ferrari have had since Canada, do leave them in the comments down below and I'll get back to you with your comments. And yeah, if you're new and have enjoyed the content, hit the subscribe button as well here on F1 Unraveled. Right, everyone, enjoy the rest of the week and I will see you over the Hungarian Grand Prix weekend.